Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome back to another episode of Revolution Idol. In the last episode, we did kind of manage to break infinity, and kind of one of the achievements that we kind of managed to get was number 50. We actually managed to get also 250 infinities, or 256, I should say, that did unlock our kind of level, well, number 51 kind of achievement. This also gives our kind of multiplier bonus to our generators. So I did leave the game running kind of for a few hours kind of before the end of the last episode just to see how far we could get. We actually get the 2000 infinities. And one of the big ones here was the inflation era achievement, reaching 1.8e to the power of 3080. And as you can see here, we are trying to get there ever so slowly. Things are really slowing down. What I did is kind of like when I kind of logged back on today, just to see how far we'd progressed, there was very little movement. You can see in our kind of, sorry, wrong one here. If you click here, we have 630,000 IP right now. The next kind of goal that we're trying to get to is getting to that 1 million stage so we can unlock the next thing in the infinity tree. Either the 17.1, where the third generator is stronger based on current infinities, or 17.3, where the first generator is 10 times stronger. 17.2, that one actually costs 2 million IP, which means that, infinities are multiplied based on total challenges. So given that we have our kind of times right now in the challenges, let's just kind of quickly go into there. You can see here, another kind of one of the things that I did kind of try to get to is kind of trying to get everything under the 10-minute mark. The only kind of challenges that I didn't attempt is challenge 4, because previously that did take 2 hours and that was going to take quite a lot of time, as well as challenge 9 as well, which was again a 2-hour run. Challenge 8, we did kind of get a little bit of kind of stumbling block on there. I think we only reduced that down from about 13 to 15 minutes if I remember rightly. But yeah, that one almost took 5 minutes to kind of get that one done. Ascensions in this game are becoming very, very important, and this kind of being disabled kind of meant that it was pretty difficult to get that in comparison to some of the other ones. You can see here, challenge 5 was probably the next hardest, where we only did infinity in 1 minute 35. So things are kind of getting better. They are improvement. We do have a times 10 multiplier with all the other things that we have kind of, with that kind of improving our kind of IP gain. So what I'm trying to do right now is literally just kind of get through to this 100%. We do have a bit more time flux, so we can kind of just increase that a little bit just to kind of speed things up. These last few percent is kind of making a big kind of difference in kind of how long it takes. You can see here, this run is taking about 30 minutes. Or as you can see on the other ones here, you can see these few runs. When I was kind of I did kind of go offline, I did only do 1 infinity. So I think it probably would have been better if I'd just kind of left it AFK, kind of from when I kind of last logged in. So I'm kind of curious, because sometimes I've been getting, a lot of progress. Sometimes I haven't been when I've been going offline from here and there. So when I did kind of go offline, I was kind of expecting it to kind of get us some infinities. And to be honest, I was quite happy to kind of wake up and have 1 million IP kind of stored in there. But, that wasn't quite true. But yeah, it is what it is on that one. We can see here we're just a few off. I'm trying to think whether or not we kind of just prestige one more time, or if we just hold off. Let's just see what it looks like when we kind of take off that. And there we go. Just like that, we've hit the inflation era. Okay, so we've managed to get a few more kind of bonus coins on that one. Things are kind of going up just a little bit. I can't really see. I was kind of hoping that times 10 IP would have been true for that one. So I am just going to restart that. I am going to turn on all my automations in terms of the promotions, getting the min IP game that we're kind of tweaking kind of last kind of episode. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to have a look at the stats tab, see if we can stay in this kind of, Not so much this 35-second mark, but they see. Sorry, that was 35 minutes. So that was our last run. Let's see if we can kind of get into that kind of 33 seconds on that one. See if for some reason this is... Oh, it would help if I turned on all of these to 100%. There we go. So it's, you've got to make sure that you are kind of putting things on when you're kind of trying to automate. You can see here, kind of minus the flashing lights. That's probably, so that took 2 minutes, probably because for the most part I was kind of talking away without having all the kind of the correct kind of automations turned on. So in this episode, what can we kind of work towards? I mean, first off, the reach 1 million IP is going to be pretty kind of up there for the next one that we need to get to. These are just giving us kind of currency right now to buy in the shop. We do have 2,000, so we can look to maybe buy this one. I think increasing our kind of infinite gain will just help. Even just 3%, it just kind of make a difference in terms of kind of getting us there. I mean, it looks like for some reason, it looks like we are hitting 45 seconds. Now we're down to 33, so let's have a look if we can tweak this just a little bit. I think maybe if we turn that to 0.08, I think it was. Let's see what that does in terms of kind of speeding up things and see if we can get that back to that 30 seconds. Because, while 10 seconds might not seem a lot, if we're producing an extra 10 IP per second, that just means like getting to 1 million, which is our next kind of achievement. It is kind of going to make things a lot quicker. And there we go. So just tweaking that slightly, just making that kind of that one little adjustment there, just making the exponent to be honest, we could probably do 7 and then kind of see how it goes from there. So I think let's give that a try, see if we can speed it up. Because what I would like to do, if we can get sub 30, then we'll be creating a hell of a lot more infinity in kind of getting us there. You see, that just went 36 seconds. I would love to get back to where we were. I think like kind of at our best, we were doing 40 something, I think maybe, per second. But yeah, let's give this a couple more runs, see what happens. I mean, it's weird because it does fluctuate. It does kind of go up and down. It's never kind of like a full kind of like the time thing there. Like kind of you can see here, there's a range. Even though we got the settings set, there's like 2 IP per second difference on that one. I think that's just mainly to do with the kind of the trigger rate. Sometimes like these don't do a full 100. I think maybe we kind of add some automations here that kind of make it. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking like kind of how we can do this and kind of get things. I mean, maybe we just do that. Edit that one to 50. See how that works. See if we can kind of increase that. Just kind of getting it up to level 50. Has that made any improvements on that one? Let's just see here and wait for it to kind of run out. See, that's 40 seconds. So that's actually made it worse. So why don't we do what we tried last time where we did 2020. Then if we add this at, say, we could just do 200 and add that, and then add 200 and add that. Let's see what happens here and see if this does any better. So that last run did 35 seconds. Let's see if we can beat 35 seconds in this run. So 38, okay. Not quite. Okay, now I wonder if we maybe just delete these two. See what happens. I think we found the sweet spot there so that's 39. Let's see how fastly we can do this. Just give it a few more seconds. There we go. Okay, so it's kind of up and down. It kind of like changes little by little, but yeah, let's just kind of keep it at that. Obviously, we're using the kind of the time flux. We are kind of trying to speed through things as much as possible. I wonder if we can just straight up use, kind of say, let's just use 30 minutes of it just to kind of see. The game's playing at 180 times speed. Okay. And it says it doesn't work at full accuracy, but let's see what we get here. Okay, well, that's not what we wanted, because that only gave us 2 prestiges. So you can see, like, kind of like it is a little strange. It doesn't quite work as you would expect it to. For whatever reason, when we run into the time flux, unless it's running like this, then we're not getting like kind of what we should be getting. Because right now, 30 minutes of those runs should have been, it should have been like 100. We should have got maybe 140,000 IP from that, but we didn't. And then now we're going from 40 seconds to 46. So the difference it makes is just it's bizarre how the automation doesn't quite work as you would expect it. So let's just kind of tweak this a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to go kind of AFK just for a little bit, let this kind of roll up, because it is going to take quite some time to get another 330,000 here, and just play around with kind of tweaking all the automations and all the settings and stuff like that. Really kind of try and make things like as efficient as possible, and kind of see how much we can increase the IP per second, and then get us all the way up to 1 million. And then once we're back to the 1 million, we can kind of get back on and then kind of see exactly what these upgrades are kind of going to do, and how they're going to kind of affect our kind of, kind of speed at which we can reach infinity. And after just a little while of AFK, we've managed to get almost 10 million IP. I did kind of go into the generators and kind of get the next 2 levels on the first and second generator, just to kind of help us out a little bit. After a few little tweaks of kind of doing the automations and stuff, I managed to kind of ramp it all the way up to like kind of around the 290 IP per second kind of mark. So, these runs are taking about 26 seconds and we're getting about 7,500. I probably could kind of push it up further, given that we have been kind of AFK for quite some time now. But let's have a look at, first of all, challenges. Kind of before I went AFK, I did kind of manage to get all of these get my words out. All of these challenges to under 10 minutes. You can see here in the achievements, I've kind of managed to get that. So we have an extra 300 of the currency. I also got this, which was login every day for 7 consecutive days. So we have another secret achievement now. So I think we have 3, maybe 4. No, we just have the 3 on that one. Okay, so let's have a look at the upgrades. So first of all, I did kind of buy that one. That kind of did kind of help out with things. So let's buy the now 3rd and also the fast get infinity. Okay, so we now have a 4 times multiplier on that. If you remember, it was at ×1 because we had a couple of those challenges in the 2-hour mark. Now we do have 6 million left. Can we buy anything else? No, I mean, it looks like, it's even further now. Things are costing billions to kind of get upgraded. So let's have a little read through. Passive infinities. Get infinities passively based on fastest infinity time multiplied by 2. Interesting. Okay, so currently, get infinities passively based on fastest infinity time. Interesting. I wonder what. So I wonder if it's. Oh, okay. So so basically, you have to get kind of under 1 second infinities, and then that'll kind of make that kind of a lot more, because you'll divide it by a decimal place, and that'll actually make it more interesting. 4th generator is stronger based on both 3rd generators, and then this one is 3rd generator is stronger based on both 2nd. Okay. So I think maybe these 2 might be kind of the first ones. Kind of, that this is twice as much. So I do feel like it will be pretty good, but we have to kind of get those infinity times down. Given that we are kind of getting like, around the 290, I wonder if we can kind of tweak it any more. First of all, let's kind of get this login. Oh, we actually are getting, have we got enough? No, we've only got 1100. Right, so let's have a look here. What can we do? Let's kind of see if we can, let's see how far. I'm just going to put this up to 15,000 for now, just to see kind of like how much this starts to kind of taper off. Okay, so it's into the 8,000, just with the way the automation. Yeah, so it looks like 8,000 is kind of like around that. Although we are kind of going up a little bit. Let's see what happens here. Actually, that was pretty solid. Okay, let's increase it a little bit more. Let's do 30,000 just to see kind of how that does. Basically, what I did, I was at the kind of 4,000 mark, then I bumped it up to about 5,000 and 6,000 and 7,500. I was just kind of ever increasing this as we kind of went by. A lot of it is to do with the infinities that we've actually achieved. That just kind of increase our multiplier from one of our kind of unlocks in the infinity tree. But I'm just kind of curious, like how far we can kind of push this now. Because like I say, when we were kind of pushing it, we're getting up to 20,000 there. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we've hit 30, and we've already kind of doubled just based on doing that. So let's just kind of bump it up to about 50,000. The kind of longer runs are kind of yielding us kind of more IP. Obviously, we need to get into the billions right now, so we need to kind of get things set up so that we're getting, considerably higher, because given that, 600 and if we're getting 600 IP per second, we need billions. Like, we're gonna have to be, pretty much not log into the game for quite a while now. That's gonna take a lot. Obviously, the next achievement, if we look at it, is gonna get 1 million IP in infinity. So we need to kind of be getting up to that kind of point. Also, as well, by the 5th generator, that's given our kind of current thing, it's going to need, 100 million there. So that's going to take some time. This one only needs 10 million, so that's going to be the next one. But to get, 300 million here, I'm assuming that kind of the 5th one's going to be in the billions. Given that, we have to buy that one next. So let's just kind of have a look just to see. Did we get that? We got 55, so we can kind of up it even more. Let's do 200,000. Oops, if I get that right. Let's do 200,000 just to see kind of like roughly kind of what it's going to take. Because, even 855 is going to take, a long time. 1 million will take 1,000 seconds, or a little over that. So 1 billion is going to take even more, and the fact that we got to get 100 billion. So let's just see how far we can kind of push this. 33,000, doing pretty well. These numbers obviously go up a lot more the kind of the longer you kind of push it past kind of the infinity mark. So you can see here we're getting 67,000. I see we're in the almost 100,000 now. Okay, that's good. I like this. This is getting like a lot more. So is this gonna kind of is our kind of automation setup? Is this gonna kind of push it a little bit further? Okay, so that's up to 3 to the power of 325. Our promotions, it's about 10 levels ish. Okay. So we're at 187,000. Is it going to push it further? Because we really do need to kind of get this like a lot higher. That's for sure. Okay, so we went up a few levels on promotion 4. There we go. So that hit, so we are getting a lot more now. We're getting 1,700. So we're just kind of really, just a case of kind of tweaking this. I'm going to put this up to maybe 500,000 now, just to see if we can get that. So although that did take, 2 minutes, the fact that we got 200,000 for that. So so things are kind of speeding up a little bit. It's just a case of kind of tweaking things here and there, kind of making sure that we can get like kind of the maximum amount of kind of IP kind of generated there. I think the sweet spot might be, I did a little kind of look while I was kind of offline, kind of AFK, and it looks like some of the runs, like in some of the Reddit threads and kind of like in like kind of the Steam community and everything else, it looks like kind of trying to get like 5-minute runs is going to be the optimal, just to kind of see like the maximize the IP. And it's just a case of min-maxing, using automation, just kind of like tweaking things a little bit, kind of making things just kind of a little bit faster by a little bit faster. Right now, we're just seeing where things kind of cap off, just kind of little by little, just by kind of like seeing like kind of what our IP gain is. Basically, what happens is when this kind of peaks in the kind of the prestige and promotion stop kind of resetting, then that's where we get to kind of like where our kind of maximum IP per second is. So right now, we're just kind of trying to find that kind of min-max. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just have a few more tweaks, kind of just to see like kind of roughly what our maximum kind of IP per second is. As we try and kind of min-max the kind of IP game, we have managed to get 1 million IP in one infinity run. So it didn't take too much longer. We are making about 5,000 right now. It only took a few more runs, maybe about 10 minutes or so, just to kind of tweak this. But I think we can push this even further.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Now, I definitely did kind of push things a lot further, to the point that I kind of just went AFK for about a full day. I did kind of tweak things quite a lot in terms of the automation. So just kind of a quick run through things. I took off exponent gain altogether, and then I went with the actual multiplier gain to 100. Towards the kind of the top end of some of the multipliers, it was starting to kind of like take a long time, and the exponent gain wasn't quite getting there. So just doing the multi-gain multiplier by factors of 100 kind of really made a difference. Also as well, just to kind of like, obviously with the earlier kind of prestige in, like it goes up incredibly fast. That it goes like from 1.0 to like 1.2 in the blink of an eye at this kind of stage. So I kind of set a minimum time before we prestige. That just means those kind of prestiges did kind of hold off. So you'd get quite the increase in exponent. Then towards the kind of like the upper echelon of like kind of when we started capping out on certain multi gains, this seemed to be a sweet spot for me. Also, what I was kind of doing is I was putting down the minimum IP to 100 billion with the minimum timestamp that you can auto infinity. Lastly, just in terms of the promotions, I was given a 5-second delay for each of them. Again, similar to the prestige. On the earlier levels, you would boost way more than 20 levels, and that was just taking too much time after reset, whereas instead, if you hit 20 levels, it won't promote until 5 seconds have been met. So in terms of, you can see basically when I first started this part of the recording, we're up to 1 trillion IP. Now, longer runs did seem to kind of make a lot of difference. So currently these are, and I'm not sure why this one was in the 2-hour mark. I think something glitched there. But you can see we're hitting 100 billion in now 1 hour 40. And with all of these tweaks and everything that we've been doing, we're getting 60 million IP per second. Now, obviously that's a huge jump from the kind of the last recording that we were doing. And the reason is a lot of it's to do with the infinity numbers. What I did is I kind of boosted the infinity numbers so we could get into that. I think it was around like kind of 6,500, 7,000. And that made an incredible difference. Now, the reason why the difference is such a high amount is because of this very first kind of skill that's unlocked in the infinity tree. Now, the generator G1 multiplier multiplied by infinities unlock like minus the unlock. So these generators have a 7,696 multiplier on them based on our infinities. So not so much a cheese, it was just kind of using the mechanics and stuff, was like boosting from, I think the last recording was like 2,000. I mean, don't quote me on that one. It was just kind of vaguely remember what I was recording yesterday. But to get like an extra 5,000 kind of times multiplier on that generator has made a huge difference. You can see here, you know, we're in the septillions on these generator powers. I did kind of level up quite a few of these kind of as we were kind of going along. But yeah, I mean, even with 11 generators, I mean, it's creating such a vast amount. And a lot of that has to do with the actual kind of upgrade itself. So if you are kind of starting to kind of plateau and stuff, and you have been kind of following along with me throughout this episode, a little bit of a kind of like a kind of efficiency thing is just trying to like really go through like quicker infinities. That does kind of speed up a lot of the kind of the gain that you can get. And, you know, you can see here, it's kind of like, it's going pretty quick, you know, like you can see here, this is like, you know, 100 million a second at this point. It's just kind of that number's increasing. And, you know, with these longer runs, the kind of the time itself, the longer the infinity is broken, the kind of the faster you gain IP. Now, at first, when I was kind of like tweaking a lot of the settings and this, that, and the other, I was doing anywhere from like 20 to 30 minute runs. Then I took it all the way down and I fixed infinity and I ran like 3,000 kind of like 5-second infinity runs. And then I kind of added it back up. And then, you know, I was just kind of playing around with kind of what worked. And like I say, what worked for me is kind of really kind of like increasing the amount of times that we hit infinity. Then I started tweaking with the automation into these settings. So if you want to kind of follow along with me, you know, I found that these were very good. And then in terms of achievements, I'm kind of having a look. We did hit the 1 million in one run. And I'm not quite sure if we did that in the last kind of like segment of this video, but, you know, bear with me. It has been, you know, a little while in between. So we are now going to have a look at these kind of next upgrades just to see like how much we can kind of increase the times and stuff. So first of all, 200 billion. I mean, we have enough for that. So we actually gain infinities passively now. So that's going to like really kind of help up on this. So I'm going to buy that and then just have a look at this number here in the top right. And you can see here every cycle. Okay, so 708. So it's making about 12 per cycle. So that's just going to kind of make our number go up even more. Okay, the next one is the fourth generator is stronger based on the third generators that have been bought. Okay, nice. And then the third generator is stronger based on the second generators. So let's have a look at our generators. Okay, so just to kind of make sure that I got that right. Hang on. It was fourth on third, right? Okay. So we have 1/4 generator. So it is going to be increased based on this third generator. And then the third generator is increased based on the second. We do have 600 billion IP still, so we might as well kind of purchase these as well. And then we are trying to get to that kind of 10 trillion IP. So we're probably going to get the first, second, and fourth, since they're 1 trillion each. In terms of the upgrades, well, I think we're probably, yeah. So we're into the trillions now. Generate exponent is okay. So much like one of the challenges that we did, it was one of these. One of these was Anyway, I can't remember which one it was, but one of them did increase the exponent by 0.75. So a further zero point 0.9 is just going to make things even faster. Okay, the third promotion is stronger based on the generator multiplier. Okay, and then better for challenges, lap speed is multiplied by 3. Now that one's pretty cool. Like a 3 times speed. Yeah, that's going to go up real quick. So let's kind of see out this run here. We have obviously purchased the upgrades during the run, so it's not going to be a true reflection of the kind of time that we can hit 100 billion. But let's just kind of see it out. We're at the 93 billion mark, but you can see this is kind of going to increase. Now, I have a feeling these generators are going to kind of like, you can see here, the movement this one's making is, quite a lot. Now, given that we've been running for, well over an hour and a half, it shouldn't be moving this close, like with the last few minutes. You can already tell that, the first generator is going to be huge. This one's running pretty slow still, but again, it's pretty early on. So you can see we have made a massive improvement on things already. I mean, this is actually going up. I would say probably 100 billion a second at this point, and that's exponentially going to get bigger. We have actually got another day in here, so let's just get that. Wow, we get. I thought that was 2,500 there. So another, 250. Can we buy anything in the shop? No, we still only have 1,700, which is not too bad. But let's kind of get to this 100 billion mark just to kind of see things out. And it looks like it is getting kind of faster. Obviously this has got to do with like this number kind of continually increasing. But yeah, let's just see exactly how much we can get once we hit 100 billion. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of just skip through just a little bit more time just to see how fast we can get like the next 100 billion, right? So that one was 16.6, so it is gone down. So we'll just kind of show you a quick little kind of look, much like I was talking about, like kind of while this is kind of increasing, you can see here, because of the 5-second delay, these numbers are jumping up. Instead of 20 levels with a 0-second delay, they're jumping up, that one there, 400 levels almost, just in it with a 5-second delay. And then we can get all of these doing the same thing. And then once we kind of get all of that done, you'll see here, these kind of start kind of increasing. I'm actually like curious why. Oh yeah, that's why. It's because these are kind of upgrading within, a few seconds of this multiplier happening. This goes first, and then when this kind of levels out a little bit, it'll kind of then start prestiging. So you see, if the 3 seconds hit here first, this'll hit. If 20 levels hit here before like the next one, it's like waiting 5 seconds to do it. It'll do this one. So it kind of works for me, these kind of settings. I would recommend playing around with kind of the time delays. That has kind of really kind of sped up my thing. Is it the best to kind of get like kind of a faster like infinity run? Maybe. Maybe there's other ways of doing it. But this kind of like, given my kind of progress through this kind of level so far, or kind of progression in this game, I feel like this is really kind of working solidly for me. So as I said before, I'm going to skip through just a little bit more time, really kind of show like kind of what kind of we can get this down. Because like I say, an hour 39, and that's 60 million per second. And the longer we leave the run, I mean, we could bump it up to 200 billion maybe. To be honest, what I might do is, because we've got all of these kind of upgrades done, and we need 5 trillion to get these next ones done. So I'm thinking, instead of just working with the 100 billion, what we could do is I'll probably kind of call it for a few hours and kind of but set the automation so we can have this at 100 trillion. Sorry, not 100 trillion, 5 trillion. Let's see if this works. There we go. So the one thing that I didn't want to do is kind of break the infinity. Sometimes when I've been playing around with the numbers, it's actually like typing in this or pressing tab or something like that, or like kind of cutting out one number, or it's reset the run because it kind of went back to default into 1.00 and it just defaulted. So didn't want to do that. So I'm going to leave this and to see roughly how long it'll take to get 5 trillion. Now I'm just going to leave this overnight again, just because, between the kind of clips, there's been quite a bit of time between the, like, kind of in this episode alone, it's taken quite some time. So I'm going to leave this as it is. I'm going to check back at it the first thing in the morning, and hopefully we'll have a bunch of, like, trillions and trillions and trillions in this stat run, like much like this, and it'll kind of show exactly kind of what those like kind of upgrades have kind of improved. So these three here, I mean, I already kind of get the feeling that this one's going to be huge. Just in general, the more passive time that we have, the bigger that number. I mean, it's looking like it's 13 now. And we've already went up like, I think over 1,000 infinities just while we're kind of waiting. So that number is just going to keep growing and growing, which is going to grow everything here and just continue to kind of just keep getting bigger numbers. So let's wind on a little bit more time. And we are back. Another sleep later. And you can see here with the challenge, the infinity tree of getting passive infinities, we've reached that 32,000 mark. We've actually hit almost 80,000 infinities. We have 15 trillion IP, so I think it's been about 6 or 7 hours. And you can see here just how much more we're getting now. We're actually at 716 million per second. We're almost kind of creeping on that kind of billion mark. And you can see here, we need 1 QA IP to get this one and also get these as well. So I think we should have enough. Yes, we have enough to purchase the 5th generator. So doing that gives us another achievement, which is great. Then in terms of the kind of upgrades, I did kind of want to buy these, which funnily enough actually costs 5 trillion total. So let's increase the generator exponent, and then the 3rd promotion is stronger, and then finally lap speed is ×3. Now I think that one actually, so we've hit the 1.25 billion mark, and you can see there that only took an hour. It looks like these few runs did take a little bit of time. You can see here, actually looking at it, we were kind of running through, I think this is where we kind of left off last night. So it's been 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's been like almost 8 hours since we kind of left this. So like in the space of 8 hours, we've managed to get 20 trillion. You can see these are massive chunks of time being taken off. 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes. So so this is just an absolutely massive upgrade for us getting these. Also, in terms of the kind of the next upgrade, we're coming to the end here now. We need 1 sextillion IP. Now, given that this episode's probably taken a couple of days now, 2.5 days, things are going to get kind of like a lot slower. I think what I want to do is just kind of like, I mean, that one needs 1 octillion. That's crazy leap, going from, million to billion to trillion to sextillion, octillion. So things are kind of like really kind of ramping up. I have a feeling this is where we get to eternity, given that, this is kind of the end of the infinity tree. Now, looking at all of these, well, actually, it's came in handy, so we can actually buy one of these because we hit that kind of 1 hour mark and kind of managed to get to the 5 trillion. So I think, this is going to be it for this episode. I think I'm going to kind of leave it for a couple of days maybe, and come back to things when we, I think we need to kind of switch up the automations. I mean, I've just got 5 trillion there. I mean, 2 minutes to get 5 trillion. And that was, just going. So I'm going to tweak these automation settings real quick and then kind of push it a bit further and seeing how much we can get. And just like that, the settings have been tweaked. You can see here we're getting, pretty sizable amount. Just kind of show you, I did not kind of knock down the kind of the times to 2 seconds. There was quite a large exponential, like multi-gain early on. And this number was going up to the power of 20 or 30 in that time. So to kind of speed things up just a little bit, we can kind of knock that down to 2, especially when the promotions hit. It was kind of going pretty. So 2 seconds seems to be a pretty solid number now. But you can see here we're already at 113 trillion, and where the minute's only 4 minutes. So we've already kind of just the massive increase just on getting those few unlocks has made such a massive difference. So kind of these ones here is just really kind of cranked up. I think it's mainly to do with this lap speed. But that's it for this episode. I'm gonna kind of leave this for a little while now. What I want to do in the next episode is kind of get enough so we can kind of unlock these. So what I'll do is just kind of when I AFK, I'll kind of continue to kind of push the IP number up as high as I can go. There's not really anything here that I can see that I'm seeing. The QA is probably when we kind of achievement that will unlock next episode when we kind of log back in, and then kind of start things from there as we work towards those last few kind of infinities, because sextillion is a lot. So guys, appreciate you kind of checking in this episode, and I will see you all in the next one.